Hi everyone, my name is Gordon, and today I'm going to give you the 5 tips on training contract application. When it comes to vacation scheme or training contract applications, there are thousands of candidates applying for the same position. And more often than not, the candidates have very similar work experiences and very similar academic performance, either to one or first in their undergraduate degree. It's really hard for a recruiter to distinguish between one candidate to the other candidates. So how could I possibly stand out from the crowd when I applied for a training contract application? For me personally, when I applied for training contract, I started from zero to do the research and to know about different firms and experienced some failures in the past, and I overcame the rejection and then I got the offer. So throughout the process, I figured out some of the key points to note when it comes to applying for training contract, and you guys may find them helpful. So that's why I make this video to help you guys to nail a training contract application. Potentially some of you guys find this video useful. So I'm not gonna speak too much on this and just go to the first tips. So the first tips is put an interesting hobby or achievement in your application form. Many people ignore the importance of having a very interesting hobby in your application form, but that is really important. I could not actually recall how many times an interviewer actually point out a hobby that I put in the application form and discussed in details with me during an interview. So more often than not, the recruiter will pay attention to a very interesting thing you put in the application. And usually, if you put a very interesting hobby, it will draw the attention. And it also kind of shows your personality. For example, for me, I have a really weird hobby. I think probably none of the candidates have ever put it in their application form. I'm really interested in the outer space law, for example. Like, who the hell would actually put something like the outer space law in the application form? So more often than not, when I put my interest in the outer space in general and my publication or articles written on this area, the interviewers will ask me questions because of this hobby. I can discuss very passionately with them because this is my genuine interest, and they will see my passion for a specific thing. And usually the passion and the enthusiasm derived from such a hobby is one key element that the recruiter or the interviewer are actually looking for, because they want someone who is passionate on something. They wouldn't quit suddenly because of their long hours. So they want someone who are willing or able to commit to something for a long period of time. So that's why interesting hobby is very important. And secondly, this interesting hobby is also able to showcase your personality. For example, in the past, I heard some people who actually put, for example, dancing for charity event. This kind of event can show that you don't really take yourself so seriously, and you are that kind of person who are able to have fun sometimes. And sometimes this kind of personality is what the firm is looking for, because they want to have someone who is funny and interesting. There are actually enough mechanical lawyers out there. They don't need one more. They want someone who is genuinely interesting. So that's why putting an interesting hobby can really help you not only in the application stage, but also in the interview, so that you can talk about it passionately. This is really helpful, and it actually helped me land a training contract. The second tips is, when you work on the work experience section, try to put as many diverse experiences as possible. And there are 2 points I want to mention here. The first one is about some non-legal work experiences. For example, if you work as a waiter or waitress in the past, you better put those experiences in the work experience section, because those non-law experiences actually demonstrate your ability required of a lawyer. For example, if you're a waiter, you have a very good interaction skills with people and in a very client-facing environment, which is necessarily the element required of a lawyer working in businesses. They need to deal with lots of people. So the skill acquired through working as a waitress or waiter is very helpful in demonstrate that aspect of what a lawyer is required to do. Also, you should put other non-legal work experiences, for example, working in a bank, in a financial services companies, for example, because those experiences demonstrate that the fact that you decide to become a lawyer is not a random thought. You actually consider other potential paths or possibilities before deciding to become a lawyer, and this is very helpful because they want to see candidate who has seriously considered why they want to be a lawyer, so that the fact that you explored other potential career path is helpful to demonstrate that. And secondly, the same also applies to legal work experiences. For example, you could specify your experiences for mini pupillage or working as an in-house department of a company, for example, because when you put this kind of experiences, you will also show that you consider other possibility as a legal practitioner. For example, you consider the path of being a barrister, considering the path of working in a company or bank. That also shows that you seriously consider legal career as a commercial solicitor. And you should also point out why you don't like working as a barrister. For example, maybe it doesn't really suit your personality. You enjoy the client-facing nature and have more client contact, maybe in general, so that you don't like being a barrister. Try to explain and justify why you don't choose the other path while you put those experiences into your application form. It will show that you genuinely want to be a commercial solicitor after carefully considering other career paths. I hope this makes sense. My third tip is try to give more genuine answer to the why law or why this firm type of questions. Usually when answering this question, many candidates give very cliche answers to those questions, and it is usually not that good because firms have received so many exactly the same answers in terms of how big their firm it is, how international it is. And sometimes the test is this: whenever you replace the name of the firm with another firm, what you have written still makes sense. That means you're doing something wrong, because it can literally apply to any firm and you didn't really tailor the application enough to the specific firm you're applying to. For example, for me, when I apply to the firm I want, I try to take advantage of my strength. For example, I'm a very international candidate because I have diverse work experiences in Asia. I studied in Germany, UK, Hong Kong. I did my master's degree in Cambridge. I work in Italy, for example. All those experiences contribute to the fact that I'm a very international candidate and I can get along with diverse people. And those elements are really attractive traits for an international law firm with diverse environment. For example, Baker McKenzie's or other international law firm that has a more diverse intake of trainees. So when you apply to firms, try to figure out how your personal experiences, your achievements actually fit in the firm's culture or the firm's established strategies, for example. So the more genuine your answer is, the more likely the firm will actually progress your application to another stage. So try to think carefully what you want to write, why you really want to work for that firm. So that's my third tips. My fourth tips is this: try to do something unusual or impressive that make you stand out from the crowd in an application. This might be more useful for candidates who are still law students, because for graduates it's really difficult for you to make other extracurricular achievements or make other impressive achievements to attract the firms. For those law students, for example, you can do a lot of things during your study. For example, when I was an undergraduate student, some of you guys may know, I wrote articles on my own and I published them in international journals on my own initiative. And this is pretty unusual because probably know that there are not too many candidates have publications when they are still an undergraduate. So I can take advantage of that strength and make me stand out from the crowd. But also I understand not too many people are interested in writing legal articles, or not too many people would like to do that. That is fine, but my point is you need to try to figure out what you're good at and try to make a special achievement out of it. For example, I've seen so many LinkedIn profiles. For example, people actually co-found an organization or they co-found a legal blog dedicating to the legal industry. That is really impressive achievement as well, and there are lots of people doing that. So it's difficult, but you really need to be a little bit more creative nowadays, especially the competition is really keen. So try to figure out something interesting. Maybe you can co-found a businesses, just work on what you're interested in and turn it into an opportunity. My last tip is this: the way you pitch your experiences is also very important. What does that mean? For example, I mentioned about my publications before. Academic publication can be a good thing or can be a bad thing. If I say the publication demonstrate my intellectual abilities or my academic achievements, that's okay because they don't really need someone who is so academic, because commercial or corporate lawyer is a very practical job. You need to interact with people. That's not useful for a corporate lawyer. Like not that useful. So it's not that impressive. But if I write something like my publication shows my ability to generate work products that correlates to a highly demanding work environment like this firm, that will be way more impressive because it shows that I understand the nature of a lawyer and I know how my experiences actually relates to an important trait of a lawyer. That will be way more helpful than just put your achievement there without explaining its relevance to a legal profession. So I hope when you put down your achievement or experiences, try to link it to the qualities required of a lawyer, and that will make the recruiter more likely to see the relevance of the achievements and will likely think that you will be able to a good lawyer in the future. So that's my tips for the training contract application. So guys, basically these are the 5 tips I gave you for standing out in a training contract application. I hope you guys find this video helpful, and those 5 tips I've really used them in my previous applications, and it did actually help me land some interviews at some law firms. So I think by taking advantage of these tips and incorporate your experiences into the application form in a proper manner, you will be able to get some interview or at least pass the application stage. If you like this video, press the like button and also subscribe to my channel. As I told you before, I'm going to use this channel to discuss any career related questions and also to help you guys succeed as a lawyer in the legal industry. So basically this is what the video is about. I hope you guys enjoy it. So I will see you next time. Bye.